Yo guys, what's going on? It's Shane, and today we're going to be going through resetting my Windows installation, just getting everything cleaned up. I've had Windows 11 installed for about 2 years now, and it's just slowly starting to get a little bit sluggish, running out of disk space. So I wanted to go through some of the things that I do to get my Windows installation back into good shape. And hopefully it's helpful to you, especially if you've been running Windows for a bit and it just doesn't feel as good. Now, of course, this is just based on my opinion and what I do to make my Windows installation better. If you have anything that you do, make sure to leave it in a comment down below. I'd love to add new things to my list, but we'll go ahead and jump over to the desktop and get set up. All right, so the first couple tools we're going to use is the Chris Titus Win utility. This is great. It's made by another YouTuber, and basically it's a bunch of scripts you can run to just kind of debloat Windows, install stuff, everything like that. So we're definitely going to use this. We're also going to use bulk crap uninstaller. Now this application isn't as maintained anymore. They did just have a release last month, but they are looking for maintainers. So if you happen to know C# and you want to contribute, please be sure to, because it's definitely a useful utility. And then we're also going to use BleachBit, and then we're going to do a couple other things as well to get everything up and going. So to kind of give a baseline here for my computer, if we go to my task manager, we're currently chilling about 12 gigs of RAM usage. Now, to be fair, I do have quite a few applications open, including OBS Studio and everything, but Windows Explorer, that's crazy, giving me the IE logo. Anyway, though, but aside from that, using a couple different things. If we go to performance, as you can see, in general, we're running about 200 processes, 31,000 handles, decent RAM usage. GPU usage is pretty good because I'm currently encoding video. But overall, we're going to see what we can do to kind of improve this and get it going a little bit smoother. And then plus also down here, you can see I have a lot of applications open. So the first tool we're going to use is bulk crap uninstaller. So this just helps you uninstall a lot of applications that you might not necessarily need anymore. It just gives you a big list. It also goes through and pulls registry files, stuff like that. Not every application is supported through this, but it should give us a pretty good starting point and be able to remove a decent amount of them. When you first install this, you'll probably get a little wizard. It'll ask you some questions. I've already gone through that. So it'll just ask you if you want to check for updates, do you want to show particular applications, all that good stuff. All right, so the first thing you're going to do just to make this easier, go ahead and go to the list view settings and choose select using checkboxes. That way you can just actually select and do this all in one go. So I'm just going to go through this list and pretty much uninstall anything I don't really use anymore. So like a vidmux, I don't really use that anymore. Anger IP scanner I do use occasionally. Let's see. Any games that are on here, I'm probably just going to install through Steam itself, so I'm not going to worry about those too much. Let's see. Bruno I use. Don't really use Chatterino. Don't use Seni. I wish I could uninstall Copilot, but I don't know if that'll actually break anything, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, so looks like I pretty much got everything selected that I want to from here. A lot of these are games or other applications that I'm probably going to have to uninstall separately, but this should pull a decent amount of stuff out. One thing I wasn't sure about is like Parsec has quite a few different included utilities that it says are able to uninstall. I'm just going off of the main Parsec install because in theory it should also pull the other applications, but if not, we can take a look. So now that we've done all this, we can go ahead and just hit uninstall. And then it'll just ask if we want to do this. And we can also do quiet uninstall if we want. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as a normal uninstall, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll just do continue, and we'll take a look. It's going to check to see if there's any applications that are running that we need to uninstall or turn off first. So Sunshine, Spotify, and Parsec sounds about right. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of Sunshine. And I will also, looks like Parsec is just on in general, so I can just kill these two. And we'll continue on as we go. Prevent system shutdown, create a restore point. And then I'll really kill stuck uninstallers, retry, blah, 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 concurrent, try and run 2 if possible. And cool. So estimated size, just in terms of uninstallation, we're looking at 42 gigs? That's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and start it. So it's going to create a store point, and then we're going to go through this install or this uninstall. And then once we're done, we'll see where we're at and go from there. All right, and here's some additional options. So these are like updaters or utilities that might not have been grabbed by the actual uninstaller. For example, the cursor updater. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure these are also deleted as well. All right, perfect. So now that's all done. We're going to go ahead and close out of this. We're going to go ahead and look for leftovers. And they say you don't need to go through this and it'll not affect system performance. So up to you if you want to go through and just declutter it. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do this, but you don't have to do this. Most of the time it's just registry keys, stuff like that. And perfect. So yeah, looks like just some registry keys, nothing super crazy, some leftover files for like program data. This one they're not sure about. Yeah, we'll skip that one. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave the Sophos stuff in there just because there is a chance, you know, with that being bugged right now, it like half installed and then failed. I don't trust that it won't cause some issues. So, and yeah. All right, cool. Looks like that's everything. We'll go ahead and delete selected. And then we'll go ahead and create a registry backup just on the off chance this breaks anything. And perfect. All right, we went through that list. So we'll go ahead and quit out of bulk crap uninstaller. And if you want to donate or if you have any problems, you can use this just to give feedback or anything like that. Highly recommend you donate if you do find this tool useful. But we'll go ahead and close up of that. Next thing we're going to look at is we're going to do BleachBit. So that's basically, think of it as the better version of CCleaner. CCleaner has been kind of a disaster these past, like, I want to say 5 or so years, just slowly getting worse. And also there's that malware strain that was using CCleaner as like a exit node or something like that. So, but BleachBit is a free open source version of basically the same thing. So what we can do is go ahead and just do a preview. And we basically just choose what we want to delete. So we'll go through Adobe Reader. We'll clear out Brave. It does give you a warning if you're going to clear out, say, passwords. I don't save any of my passwords in like the built-in browser storage. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Deep scan I would probably leave if you don't want to do that, or if you are going to do it, just do temporary files. Again, it is slow, so if you're willing to do that, great. If not, don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and do temporary files. Discord will clear up. FileZilla will leave. Firefox will go ahead and do this. And then Internet Explorer, I don't use that. Edge, don't use that, so that's fine. We'll clear it out. And then we are going to skip the free disk space, personally, because I think it takes a little bit too much time. So we'll go ahead and leave it. VLC, Windows Defender. We'll go ahead and leave the logs and the history and the quarantine. We'll leave those, but everything else we can delete. Boom, boom, boom. We'll actually go ahead and leave all that. And then WinRAR will leave, and then WordPad. So we'll go ahead and leave those, but this is what we're going to start with. We're going to do a preview clean. So this will basically just find everything, see what we can locate, and it'll give us kind of a breakdown of what it will clean and how much space we should get. So we'll take a look here. Already a gig just in Brave in the cache. I get a lot of NPM packages too. So if you're a developer or you deal with JavaScript, those will probably take up some space too. All right, so it looks like the deep scan finished, and it looks like we're about to clear up about 9 gigs of space, which is also going to be nice too, because I am starting to run a little low on disk space. I got about like 200 gigs left of a 2 terabyte drive, which honestly is still a pretty decent amount of space, but you know, we want to get that straightened up a little bit. We can also blame Call of Duty for being almost 300 gigs. So we'll go ahead and hit clean, since that was just the preview, and then it'll have us confirm. We'll go ahead and let this run through. And then once this is done, we can move on to the next steps. I am probably gonna have to close out of Zen browser, just due to the fact that it's based on Firefox. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that out just to make sure it can grab everything it needs. Right, and perfect. Looks like BleachBit did finish up. Looks like Discord was the only one that couldn't be cleaned because it was open. So I went ahead and closed that out, but I'm not too worried about that. I can run it again if needed to grab Discord. It looks like it's just under half a gig. So go ahead and close out of this. I've already made some really good progress. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next is also run Chris Titus's tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pop open a terminal, and I am going to run this as administrator. And then the command is super easy. Again, I recommend you don't just go paste random commands into your terminal. Don't even trust me. Go ahead and find it, do your own research, and make sure that the script looks fine before you run it. But I trust you can do that. And then also I trust Chris Titus as well. His script has been pretty good. So I'll go ahead and run this. And then this gives us quite a few options. So as you can see, this window will pop up. They recently did a UI update, so it looks pretty good. So these are a bunch of tools and applications you can just download straight from here. We're not interested in the installation part of it at this moment in time. We are more interested in the tweaks. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go to the tweaks tab right here. And we're going to go ahead and run on the standard tweaks. This will enable some certain things, disable Windows telemetry, disable location tracking, stuff like that. As well as some advanced tweaks like debloating Adobe, which is probably a good thing too. Again, advanced tweaks, so want to do your own research, so I'd probably click these little question marks and look at the GitHub and see what it does before you do it. That's what I'm going to do first, so I'm not going to click those yet. Once I look at it, if it looks like something I want to do, I will go ahead and do it. We're going to disable a couple different things. Bing search in the start menu we're going to turn off because I hate that. And we're also going to turn on detailed blue screen of death, just on the off chance I get it. And the rest of this looks pretty good. I'm also going to run O&O Shutup 10, so I'll click on that too. And this is basically a tool that just helps basically make Windows not say stuff and not send telemetry. So we'll only apply the recommended settings. We'll do a restore point, set the settings, and then close out of that. We're not going to restart Windows yet, and then we're going to go ahead and run the tweaks. So this is going to go ahead and do its thing. You can also check the log back here. So it's doing a restore point, or you can even watch up here in the status bar to see what it's doing. But we're going to go ahead and let this finish real quick, and then we are almost done with our decluttering. And perfect. Tweaks are done. Nice and easy. So now that we're done with that, we'll go ahead and close out of this. And then I highly recommend doing a restart. So we're going to go ahead and stop the recording, restart my computer, and then we'll see where we are at. One last thing I will do before we do a restart, I do want to look at startup items just to see if we have anything in here we don't need starting up with every Windows install, or every time we boot. So we'll go ahead and click on startup apps here, and we'll take a look. So we got the Adobe stuff. We'll leave that on. Focusrite, that's from an audio interface. I'll leave that on. Mobile devices turn off. I don't have anything that Windows can use for that. Signal will go ahead and turn off. GitHub will turn off. I don't need that. That's for my mouse, so unfortunately I do need that on because otherwise the DPI doesn't save. Turn off the GitHub. VMware tray process will leave on. Xbox, wallpaper, Alama. Okay, so that looks good to me for now. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. We'll go ahead and close this out. And we'll go ahead and do a reboot, and then I will join you guys back after the restart. All right, perfect. So we are back after a reboot. We'll go ahead and check Task Manager real quick. Down to 175 processes and 96,000 handles. So already looking better. RAM usage is also a lot better, chilling at about 8 gigs. Now, to be fair, 8 gigs is still pretty high. I am running Wallpaper Engine as well as OBS and a notes program, and I don't have Zen browser open yet, so that probably would bump me up closer to the 10 gigs that where we were at when we started, but still much better. Still a couple applications at startup, so primarily I have the Riva Tuner statistics. That's just for FPS in my games and stuff. I'm okay with that starting, as well as ShareX. I could probably close out of Power Toys, but we're in a much better spot. I got my fan control software running. All right, and then the next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and run driver updates. So I'll go ahead and open up my NVIDIA app. and just check to see if I have any driver updates. Same thing, I'll also run AMD driver updates, so we'll go ahead and go through that real quick. All right, looks like we do have a driver that came out a couple days ago, so we'll go ahead and download that, get that installed. All right, we'll go ahead and install this. I'm not going to install it right now just because it will probably mess up my recording. But now that that's downloaded, we can install this, make sure those are good. And then I also recommend just finding drivers for your CPU chipset. So I have an AMD CPU, so I'd run these. Make sure we do that. And then last thing I'll run is a Windows update. So I'll run updates. Just see if there's anything. Looks like there's a preview update, but I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. So we'll just leave this. And then that's pretty much it. So make sure we're all up to date. You might have to run the Chris Titus tool after running Windows Update, just because sometimes Windows can re-enable some of those features. So I would just run it after a Windows Update just to make sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching the video. Hopefully this helps declutter your Windows install and gets it running a little bit smoother. Again, if you have any things that you do for your Windows install when it starts getting a little slow, make sure to leave them down in the comments. I love reading those and adding new things to my list. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.